So, it's time for another Tex Avery. You know, it's funny. Out of all the praise I give him, it's interesting that his best work wasn't Warner Brothers, but MGM. And don't get me wrong, he did some awesome work at Warner Brothers. I've already praised plenty of his work. Plus, he was the first one to direct the first Bugs Bunny cartoon. Sort of. Well, it was the first one that he actually spoke with a Brooklyn accent and said the phrase, "What's up, Doc?" He was also the first one to recognize Porky Pig as what should be the mainstream character. But then in 1941, he directed The Heckling Hare, and it kind of went downhill from there. Literally. Okay, so this story's been around for years. I'm not positive if it's actually true or not, but here it is. Heckling Hare featured Bugs Bunny hunted by a dopey dog. In the ending, both of them fell off a cliff, but at the last minute, braked, stopped, and went, "Nah, fooled you, didn't we?" And then it quickly faded to black. In actuality, the cartoon ended with them falling off a second cliff and Bugs declaring, "Hold on to your hat, folks, here we go again." So I have heard in many of interviews that Warner Brothers cartoon producer Leon Strashinger usually stayed out of the cartoon department. He knew he was a money man and not a cartoonist. He trusted his creators to do their thing. However, the story is, in this case, he hated that ending so much that he insisted on having it removed. Some sources say it was because "hold on to your hat" was an innuendo, one I've never heard of, and some have also said that it was because he didn't want his newest star ending a cartoon in death. Either way, the dispute led to Avery being fired and moving to MGM. The odd thing is how much better he did there. Odd because Friz Freleng and Chuck Jones both got their chance at MGM at one point, and both of them were limited in their creative processes. But Avery? It was like skee-ball, and every single film he did hit that 100 slot. I've already spoken about Volume 1 and 2 of his VHS collections. This year is Volume 3 out of the 4 that were put out. Sadly, they only included 6 cartoons each. Yeah, this is the first time I'll recommend the Laserdiscs instead of the VHSs, because they included all 67 of his MGM masterpieces. However, even in small doses, these do the job. As per usual, I will say, all of them are A+ works, and all of them get a recommendation. But this time, I'm going to talk about one specific cartoon on here, TV of Tomorrow. This was a really creative idea. In the late 1940s and early 50s, everybody was looking at the future with robots, univacs, and hovercrafts. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Anyway, cartoons were all over this concept as well, as proven by the show Jetsons. They can exaggerate the future in whatever they wanted to do. Avery did 4 of these for MGM, including House of Tomorrow, Farm of Tomorrow, and Car of Tomorrow. In this film, TV of Tomorrow is brilliant because not only is it creative in its silly gags and interesting concepts, but it's very artistic in the usage of live action. Yeah, everything that we see in this cartoon on the TV is a live action shot. It's funny, it would normally be the other way around, but this is a good idea. It even utilizes some TV stars, including swimsuit model Joy Lansing and B-Western star Dave O'Brien. That's also Paul Frees doing the narration, by the way. It's always good to hear his voice. While the gags here range from dated to very dated, each one of them are inventive and get a laugh. If anything, I think this film should be watched from an historical point of view. This is pretty much what people thought TV was going to be advanced with, and it's interesting to see how many of them were true and how many of them were just silly. It's good to see a creative mind like Avery really being allowed to do his thing. Incidentally, I have heard this late 70s interview with Tex Avery when he did in fact praise Leon Strashinger, so it's good to see that there was no bad blood between them. At any rate, this cartoon is a great watch, and is highly recommended to any animator out there who wants to experiment and have fun at the same time. It gets 5 ducks as usual. As I said, Avery always hits the mark.